Guys, how many times have you been in your RZR or your side-by-side and you're strapped in with your harnesses on and you're trying to see either if you're gonna rub your passenger side on a tree and take off your fenders, or if you're trying to just see who's behind you or what's behind you, and you're doing this action here. And you can see a little bit, but you really can't see much more than out of this corner back here at like 4 o'clock and what, 7 o'clock, something like that. And it's very hard to see. Or you're doing one of these jobs, maybe on the one you all with the 2-seaters, maybe that's a lot easier. But especially with these 4-seaters, seeing behind you is kind of a pain in the butt. And so we're gonna take care of that today with some add-on mirrors. What's up, guys? It's Mike with Rugged Adventures. Been talking lately when I'm in my RZR about how hard it is to see out of the back and sides of the vehicle. And I was in the market for some mirrors when a company reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like for you to showcase one of our products, what would you like? And they had some breakaway folding mirrors that I saw on their website, and I said, why don't you send me a pair of those and I'll take a look. So with that, good folks at Kemi Motors sent me some mirrors, and what I'm gonna do with them is show you what they are out of the box, to do like an unboxing type of thing. Show you how to put them on your RZR or side-by-side. They're kind of a universal fit type of deal, as long as you can dial them in pretty well. And then we'll take them out to the trail and see how they do hitting things, because they're supposed to fold in as long as you have it all set up right. And I told these folks when I agreed to do this, I said, listen, the integrity of my channel is paramount, and so I'm going to give you guys the review that I want, good or bad. So I'm going to bring that to you, and hopefully we come out of this with some really sharp looking mirrors that really help us see the sides of these side-by-sides and RZRs, and anything really that you have a roll cage type of thing that you can bolt it to. So let's get started. Now I've taken this out already, and it's all very, whoops, I opened it upside down. It's all very well packaged, so I would think that whatever you get is going to be in good shape whenever it arrives. And what it comes with are these clamps that allow you to attach it to your roll cage or a tube or whatever. The actual mirror itself, and this thing, it seems like a pretty darn sturdy plastic, and the mirror seems to be of a pretty good size. And we'll get into how to put these on the unit here in just a second. And then also it comes with all these different color triangles, or these chevrons or whatever you want to call them, that you clip into the back side of these so that it matches whatever color scheme that your ATV side-by-side, whatever you want to put this on, tractor, you can put it on pretty much anything that this piece here will fit around. In addition, it's got some instructions and what have you, but what I'm going to do is I will just show you how to put them on, and then you don't need the instructions so much. So let's get to putting these things on. Okay guys, let's get on to the installation. I've already set up the one on the passenger side so that I knew what I was doing before I started on this. And what really impressed me with these mirrors is the quality of the hardware. Only a few tools needed to install them. I only needed a 3mm Allen key, a 4mm Allen key, and a 10mm wrench. And then in addition to whatever you may have to take off of that's pre-existing on your machine. Mine came with the lock and ride Polaris windshield, so that just clips right off. Like I said, these things are very well machined. There's not any loose ends or anything like that, and it was very easy to put together. There's just a couple minor things that might have made them just a little bit better, but I'll address those as we get into actually installing them. So the first step to the install process is that you need to remove the 4 bolts from here, the retainer that holds this to your roll bar. take these out. And again, all the hardware seems to be of very good quality. I didn't have any problems with anything stripping out or just being deformed, or you know how you get sometimes with bolts that are just not great. But these are really good. This is one of the few areas where I wish that they would have done something a little bit different. These bolts here have nuts on the end of them that can fall off and get lost, which isn't a huge issue. And a lot of accessories do this, but I would rather have seen this as a tap and dyed thread on the other side here. So in case you have to mess with these on the trail or just whatever, it just makes the ease of installation easier. But that's kind of an industry standard, it seems, for nut and bolt type of thing. But you don't need a wrench because they did cast these items to hold the nut in place, if you can see that, the hex casting there. And then on the inside of these, let me get these bolts put over here. They have these plastic sleeves, and I'm sure it's to give some bit of compression to really hold tight against the rail, but it'll also protect the paint if that's something that you're concerned about. It's not for me, but I know that there are people that are concerned about that. Alrighty. So when we put these on, we want these two Allen screws here, these set screws that actually hold the mirror in place. Put that right here, and let me move the camera in so you guys can see that. And I chose this area right here because it's the widest part out this way on the razor that I can attach this to, where it'll be in my line of sight, so that I get the widest possible view. So we will, and then all you do on here is mate up this other half right behind it, squeeze it together. If you still have this cloth attachment point for the original nets that came on these, you can just push that down and it seems to push out of the way just fine. I have harnesses on mine. I don't know why I keep that, but I just do, so that's on me. And then this is, like, I've gotten that nut sideways and I've dropped it, but I found it. That's just a place where tap and die threads would really come in handy. So just get this one started. I'm sure if you guys are out there working on this, you know, this will probably be pretty self-explanatory and straightforward for you. But obviously don't torque them down until you've had the time to adjust it to where you want it to be. And I didn't want to take my windshield completely off. So obviously, I'm just okay with struggling with it. Like I said, just snug is fine. And this actually tightens up very well and very quickly, so don't go nuts with them. And there drops the nut again. Don't go nuts with them until you have adjusted the mirror itself, because this is how you're going to adjust your mirror, side to side, front and back, something like that. So once you have that attached there, you're going to take the mirror itself, and it will sit this way. And on the end of this, there is another set screw, and this has some sort of a cam lock type mechanism to it. And what you'll do is you'll just loosen that up a little bit until you can hear that cam moving. And there's a relief set here, if you guys can see that. And there's a matching channel here in the mount itself where that needs to slide into. Because these two set screws here, there, and there, will screw into these two holes here and here. And again, I'm thoroughly impressed with the build quality of this mirror. So what I want to do is just try to get it close. You can mess with this so that you can still turn the mirror. There we go. And then what I like to do is just screw these set screws in here. Again, this is just all the other Allen keys are 4mm. These guys here are 3s. This is the first time I've done this side, so they're still a little bit stiff, but they do loosen up very quickly once you start messing with it. And you're gonna have to mess with this a couple of times to get it how you want it to be. So once you've got it on there, hop in the machine, shut the door, and then see where you want it to be. For example, this one on this side, I actually want to see what's going on behind the razor. On the other side, I have it essentially pointed down towards the tire so that I can see if I'm going to hit a tree or something with my machine. So get that dialed in. Get an assistant to help you if you need to. And then go ahead and just snug up all your screws. Now, for example, on this one, we had it sort of loose still on the inside cam lock. It's holding pretty well. So if we've got that where we think that we want it, just go ahead and snug it down to lock in where that cam is. Make sure you line up the guides in there, and then tighten down your set screws. I didn't see any torque values in the instructions for any of these, but snug to tight should be more than enough. Because you're probably gonna, the first couple times that you're out on the trail, you're probably gonna wanna change where you have them for adjustments anyhow. So that's looking pretty good to me. We may actually go out just a smudge with it. And then go ahead and tighten up all your set screws here. Again, 4mm for this. And I always like to do everything in a star pattern to distribute the torque equally. That's maybe overkill or overthinking it for this sort of application, but old habits die hard. Once you have that on there, it is not going anywhere. There's one last thing to do. Got to put the bling on the machine. Let me go grab my chevrons. And again, guys, these come in black, orange, blue, and red. I chose red because that's the color scheme of my whole rig here is all red. And these simply just clip on. Push them in there. We'll see how well those hold on, and if we need to, We can always just glue them. So that is that right there. The last bit of adjustment that you need to make on these mirrors is this screw right here. And this is where your 4mm Allen key and your 10mm wrench come into effect. They're a little bit, I feel like they're a little bit loose from the factory. I just gave them a little tighten. This is another one of those areas where I really wish that they could have come up with something where you didn't need a 10mm wrench. But there's actually these little ball detents in here that hold that. Let me get a little pointer. These guys right here, and a little channel that will hold that mirror right where you want. And so the deal with these is they're breakaway mirrors, because obviously if you got a mirror out here like this, the chances of you smashing it on something are really, really good. And this is why I was interested in these mirrors, because as you're coming down the trail, you come up and a tree gets in your way, and that should just flip in like that. Same deal, you're backing up, not paying any attention, it should just flip forward like that. So let's take this dude out. Let's get down to our property. I'm gonna run this into a couple trees on purpose. Obviously, I think if we're going 30 or 40 miles an hour and we hit one, I don't think that anything would ever survive. We'll hit these at 5 to 10 miles an hour as best as I can. Right after this. It's just like that. We are down here on the trail. We're gonna try to run these mirrors into a couple things and see how they do when they fold up. As you can see, much better vision than nothing, what we used to have. Well guys, I tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with these mirrors here. I can see a heck of a lot better out of the sides of the RZR. They look great. They very much match the angular styling of the RZR, and I would assume it would probably match any other type of side-by-side that you would put it on. They break away fantastically. I think as long as you hit a tree or a bush or something at a reasonable speed, it's gonna probably come away unscathed. On this particular vehicle, on the RZR at least 800 in 2012, they don't stick out too much farther than the fender. So really, I think if you keep, if you're not hitting the side of the vehicle, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape anyhow. But just one final little look at these guys. And another thing I forgot to mention when we were in the shop is that the internals of this are also adjustable, just like a typical car mirror. Guys, a link to these mirrors will be in the description to the Amazon store where these are located. In addition to that, there'll be a coupon code for 5% off through July 31st. So if you want to get these things, save yourself 5%. It'll help with the sales tax at least a little bit if you're in a state that has sales tax. Guys, if you like this video, razor videos like this, accessories, things of that nature, subscribe to my channel, like this, share it, and I'll see you guys next time.